thank you to the balloons. So many things to say, Neil, and not a one appropriate. Names matter. Knowing someone's name is the difference between calling out, hey you, or hi Joe. We can yell stop to the 5-year-old running down the hall, and that child's going to keep moving. But if we yell stop Mary, the child will hear a voice of authority. I know for a fact I am the youngest of 3 girls. And I knew that I could keep running until my mother went through the list of my sister's names before she finally arrived on me. Stop, Lori, Gail, Carly. And when she got to my name, I knew it was time to stop or face the consequences. When a celebrity or someone we admire calls us by name, we experience a connection with them that we just did not have before. In that moment, someone important knows who we are. We're no longer part of a nameless, faceless crowd. We are known. Names matter. Mary Magdalene had gone to the mausoleum where Jesus had been laid. In the first century, everyone was laid to rest above ground. The stone had been rolled away from the entrance, so she ran to get Peter and the disciple Jesus loved, whose name has been lost to history. They came and saw that the tomb was empty. One saw and believed, while Peter did not know what the empty tomb meant. The men ran back to Jerusalem to talk with the other followers to try to figure it all out. Mary stayed at the tomb crying. She knew that grave robbing was common in the first century, so she honestly thought Jesus' body had been stolen. And Mary did not recognize Jesus until he said her name, Mary. And when Jesus said her name, everything changed. Mary knew then exactly who Jesus was. Some of us are here today, and we know without a doubt that Jesus knows us by name. We've experienced God's grace in our lives in ways that tell us that Jesus knows exactly who we are. Some of us are here because we believe Jesus knows our name. We haven't personally experienced it, but we have no reason to disbelieve. It's what we were taught when we were young, and we have no reason to doubt it. Others of us have trouble believing that the risen Christ knows who we are. If there even is such a thing as a risen Christ, how does that one have time to know us all by name? After all, shouldn't the Son of God be busy with bigger issues than knowing each of our names? When we wonder if Jesus does know our names, I invite us to look back to those times in our life when we were lost. Those times when we were confused. Those times when we were in trouble. And to remember that somehow we found the strength to keep going because someone bigger than ourselves knew us and gave us the strength to persevere. Let's look back to those times, when an idea that was so much better than anything we could have thought of ourselves pops into our heads, and it's an idea that solves a problem or moves us in a direction we would not have otherwise gone. Jesus knows our names and, well, helps us to be smarter than we really are. Or let's look back to a time when we were forgiven for something we did, when the one who caught us had every single right to throw the book at us, when we were caught absolutely red-handed, and we still received grace. That forgiveness, that grace, was the result of Jesus knowing the name of the person who forgave us. Jesus knows our names. And some of us have experienced being known by Jesus. Some of us are still waiting for that personal experience of being known. And some of us are, well, filled with doubts. And we deny the possibility of Jesus knowing who we are. So think back to those moments when we were helped, when we were inspired, when we were forgiven, or given another chance to do it right that time. That help that forgiveness, that grace, that inspiration were all given to us by Jesus, the risen Christ, who absolutely knows each one of our names. Yeah, the universe is big, and yes, Jesus is busy keeping track and taking care of the issues, the big issues in creation. But Jesus is also our brother. And like any brother, Jesus knows our names. And best of all, Jesus doesn't have to run through a list of names to get to ours. He knows right on who we are. And right now, this morning, the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of our lives, Jesus is calling us by name, hoping against hope, that we are willing to listen and that we will be open to the idea that it is Jesus calling to us. Right now, Jesus is waiting for us to recognize all the times that he gave us strength, all the times he gave us hope, all the times he gave us inspiration, forgiveness, and grace. Right now, Jesus is saying our names because Jesus knows us by name. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Amen.